meal for my child, but I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring 1 thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like that's bogus as hell. Like you're not gonna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing 1 child something to eat. Look, there you go. And I bet you he only got 1 thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just 1 burger? 1 burger, 1 fry? What he like? What do you mean? Okay, what about my other kids? What about your other kids? Okay, but them your kids' siblings though. What are you talking about? Them my kids, them your kids' siblings though. So what you want? So my other kids finna be left out. You didn't feed them? You know I don't give my food stamps to the 7. Lisa, is that my problem? But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out. I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son. How are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings? Lisa, them are his siblings Lisa, though. He's not finna eat in front of all his other siblings and they're not eating on McDonald's.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're going to be talking to you guys about this recent video that went viral not long ago. It's an interesting conversation because I think these kind of things do happen a lot. When I talk to other men, this kind of stuff comes up a lot. I can see some of you guys are saying it's fake. Listen, it could be fake, but this stuff happens a lot. Can I say it again? It happens a lot. Okay. Because these things between men and women, baby mother, baby father, entitlement, lack of attention, lack of care, lack of self-awareness, these things happen in relationships so much. That's why it's believable what this thing happened. That's why, of course, it seems a little bit like madness, but we all can say, do you know what? We know a story or we've heard a story, something like this, whether it's man or whether it's a woman that's moving mad, it doesn't really matter. And so I want to break it down from a particular point of view. And I want to give multiple perspectives on this issue because I think this is multifaceted. And if we want to solve the issue, it requires a multifaceted idea at looking, as well. Besides that, she actually responded on a video as well. And we don't know. I'll play that video as well after for you guys as well. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, baby. You got the minerals. All right. I don't want to waste much time. Let's get into the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video from the beginning. And we're going to break it down. Now, it's 5 minutes long. Okay, but I really want to just pay attention to certain things in this video, which are really important to this, because these things, like I said, they happen in relationships all the time. And I want people who maybe not like yourselves. You guys are pretty calm, you're pretty thing. I don't know, maybe some of you are crazy. Okay, but maybe somebody's watching this as well, and you're probably thinking, I actually agree with the mother or I agree with the father. I want to be able to help you expand your mind and look at the scenario in different perspectives, because I've got friends who are men who are dealing with so-called crazy baby mothers, and I advise them, but I don't always see all the madness eye to eye. If I see this physically, I'm a look at your baby mother like she cray, okay, all right, and I'm gonna look at your baby daddy as well too. If he mad, I'm gonna say he cry. Okay, so let's listen to this and then let's get deep with it. Okay.
1 meal for my child, but I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring 1 thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? I
want to pause it here, okay? And shall I let it play and then come back to this? Let's let it play and we'll come back to this. Let me play and I'll just do all my analytics.
You can't feed my other kids McDonald's though. Like that's bogus as hell. Like you're not gonna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing 1 child something to eat. Look, there you go. And I bet you he only got 1 thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry? What he like? What do you mean? Okay, what about my other kids? What about your other kids? Okay, but them your kids' siblings though. What are you talking about? What are you mad about? My kids, them your kids' siblings though. So what you? So my other kids finna be left out. You didn't feed them? You know I don't get my food stamps to the 7. Listen, is that my problem? But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out. I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son. How are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings? Listen, them are his siblings though. He's not finna eat in front of all his other siblings and they're not eating on McDonald's. Why do I gotta bring him out to the car? No. He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody. Lisa, so you telling me that I gotta bring? So when I bring my son food, I gotta bring your kids food too now? Yes. You sound dumb. How is that dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb. Where are they daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. They're your responsibility. They're not my responsibility. Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all. How do that shit look that I'm letting one child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's? So you know I get food stamps on the 11th. That ain't 3 kids that ain't mine. 3 kids that ain't mine. Yeah, like? They're his siblings. You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me. No, I did. Yes, you did. You ain't expect me to take care of all the kids. They're not my kids. Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids. Why are you recording me? Because I'm exposing. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit in this bullshit. You only come here with one piece of food for one child. The child that's mine, silly. No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed nobody at all. Then he can't take that. He can't eat it. Maybe if you had 1 or 2, I could maybe. You got it's 3 extra kids. What the? You all like going to my mother account? Spend money on all those kids. Them not my kids. Them are your kids' siblings, though. Dumb. So that's what you gonna go with. That's the one you gonna. Those are your fucking kids' siblings. They're my. So that means yeah. So don't. No, I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you bring one something to eat. I bring them food every other day. What do you mean? Exactly, but you don't never bring food for the other ones. You know I get my food stamps on the 11th. Your babies. Okay, but I'm saying. We share the same kid as well. Absolutely. So if you want to, if you feel away about eating, take him in the room and let him. I'm not taking my kid in the room. Down to the car. He ain't even got eat for it, but he come right out to the car and eat with me. No. You know what? Fine. Give it here. Thank you. Give it here. Give it here. Give it here. Done. He ain't eating this. You. Why don't you just do that? Because you ain't bringing up for all the other kids. You stupid. Selfish is like you're dumb as hell. You're dumb as hell. He's not finna eat that shit. Dumb. Take care of him anyway. Dumb. He not finna do that. If you can't do it for all, don't do it for none of them. Bye, stupid. Thought I was finna take that shit today. Yeah, I had another thing for him today. No, he can't take it today. You know I don't get my food stamps to the 7. Listen, is that my problem? But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out. I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my.
So, this is quite interesting. I'm gonna break it all the way down for you guys because there is a real few things that are happening in this scenario. Because hopefully, I can help some people who are in the situation, both the men and the women, to hopefully see a different point of view. Because these are very emotionally high spec ended situations. Okay, all right. And I know people are saying it might be fake and everything. Hey, if it is, then these people are good actors. Get them on a show, get them on Tyler Perry, because he needs some actors there. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, let it be what it be. All right. Okay, so we're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at this one situation, and we're gonna break down what is happening here in a very quick thing. Okay, so let's just quickly do this. Oh, let me go back. Now, first thing to notice is she's already on 10. Okay. She already on 10. Okay. All right. She's already on 10. Um, she's already on 10. So looking at the situation, she's already complaining, getting angry, and already anticipating there's going to be an issue. I'm going to guarantee you this. If you already anticipate a problem, you're already thinking it's going to be an issue, there's going to be an issue. Okay. All right. There's going to be an issue. She's already amped up, ready to go. It means anything that happens in the next few moments is going to send somebody to the hill straight away. And as a baby father or a baby mother, you don't want to be in a situation where you're already on 10 and you're about to now engage with the other party. This is neither positive for you nor positive for the other person. This is not positive for your kids. Want to let you know as well, just in case anybody's watching this thinking that it's only these two that are going to be affected. No, his whole day's now mash up. Anybody comes in contact in the next few moments, probably going to get it in the neck. Her day is about to be mashed up too, because she's already vexed and angry, thinking that he's only come with one meal, with her entitlement behind this. This is gonna make her. This now you're gonna go back to them kids, and your energy is gonna be off. Okay, so this just first and foremost, just in case you're not thinking about the wider circumference of things, if you're only thinking about you and you're only thinking about how you feel, you've missed it. Because what you have to realize is, as a parent, your energy, children pick it up. We just spoke about this earlier on last episode talking about put a ring on it. And we spoke about attachment styles. And we talked about how when children are going to anticipate, because of their expectation from you, they're going to start anticipating your energy. And if you're going to come back into the house all hyped, all angry, all this, it's gonna and you know this happens all the time. We're black. We know our parents have been through. When your parents on 10 and you try to say something to a parent like, "Mom, can I do this?" "Oh, go away!" You get it in your neck, right? So before we even go any deeper, you have to think about this beyond what you're just seeing right now. You as a parent have to think about the fact that beyond this moment I'm having with my baby father, the way I've got angry, I'm already vexed on 10. I haven't even seen him yet. I haven't even seen him yet. And I'm already chomping at the bit. That tells me that you're going to feel some type of way, right? When you're going back, right? So for me looking at the situation, I'm like, look, already we're in trouble. Okay. All right. We're already in trouble because you're going to give this guy hell the moment he gets here. Okay. All right. Let's go a bit deeper and play more. Now let's pause it here. Her main point of this whole situation is that him bringing food, he's only bringing food for one child, not for all the kids. Okay. Now, her point, I would understand if he had obligation towards her and the kids. Unfortunately, you're not together anymore. You have a child together. He is no longer under any moral obligation or ethical obligation to begin to provide for all the kids. My key question is, why is it that you feel it is his obligation to do this? That's the deeper question I want to ask. Why is it for her there is a deeper feeling of wanting him to provide for all the kids? And it really doesn't, it's not about him providing now. It's about how you feel. It's about how you feel at the moment. And we can almost maybe take an estimation or guess, right? The stress and the pressure of having to look after kids, you're on food stamps, you're doing this all by yourself, and the men are getting away with it so it looks like scot-free. They have these kids on the weekend, but you have them all the day. That builds up a frustration, that builds up resentment, that builds up anger, that builds up wanting to punish people, right? So I get it. I'm hearing you, and I'm trying to get into your space and your head spot right now that you're probably very, very stressed at this point in moment. All right. I want to be able to understand this point of view as well. This is another perspective. I can tell you're stressed, you're angry, you're pissed off. You're the one having the kids 5 days out of probably 7, or maybe even longer than that as well. Who knows what's happening with the financial assistance? I don't know what's happening with financial assistance, whatever, right? But you're probably on 10 when it comes to these kids. You're stressed, okay? I get it. But what's happened is you've now let your frustrations and anger and hurt and pain, because we heard that, later on that they have just broken up not long ago. In another video, you'll hear it. She's broken up with him. You're going to let that frustration and anger you have right now impede immediately before he gets there. So whatever you're suffering with, you're already on 10 because of what you feel you've been hard done by. You're feeling an injustice. You're feeling you're feeling like it's not fair. You're feeling like, why do I have to deal with this? Like, this is, men are not this, men are not that. You probably got your own ideologies, and it's all coming into a focal point at this point, right? It's all coming at this point. Boom. It's hitting him right there and then, right? Because you keep saying, why? I bet he's only got 1 meal. I bet he's only got 1 meal. But he doesn't have more than 1 child with you. So what's happening is you are now punishing him for what the other men have made you feel. This ain't even about the kids no more. This isn't even about the kids. This is about you, madam. You are now punishing this sole number 1 guy, which is what we call in psychology, you are displacing your anger and frustration on 1 guy. Right? You are frustrated and angry and hurt and feeling maybe there's an injustice, and you've displaced your anger for who it should be really for onto 1 man who's just providing food for his child. Okay? And you're using an excuse. You are using an excuse to be triggered in this moment to get angry at him. You knew he was only going to bring 1 meal for his child. You knew that because he's only got 1 child of you. You knew that you were trying to, that he was going to do it for his only child because you already pressed about it before he even got there. Okay, so all of that now is culminating in this 1 moment that's happening. Okay, in this 1 moment that's happening. All right, let's see this. Now I want to pause it here. Okay, I want to pause it here. The reason why we really know it's entitlement, the reason why we know it's entitlement at its fullest is the wording. Personal pronouns and ownership is being said here. I look, when it comes to the situation, I understand what she's saying. Let me address her solo point. Her point is you brought food for one of the kids, not all the kids, and all the other siblings have got to actually watch him eat. Let's just say that. Let's just say that first part, right? All right, cool, right? That's a fair point. I actually agree. It's a fair point to buy the McDonald's and that young kid out of all the other siblings that has at McDonald's. It can create a little dysfunction within the family. Let's be honest. It can. I want to hold that point as true that it can, right? It can cause a little bit of he's got this, she hasn't got this kind of thing, right? That is absolutely true. But then the gentleman also offered a solution to this particular thing and said, no problem. Let me have my young son out here in the car with me and he'll have McDonald's with me. Right? So now there's been an option given to you and said, here's a solution. Since you're saying it's going to look bad for the optics, which I actually do agree with, like optically, it don't look right. Right? Optically, it's not going to help, right? And bear in mind, she's the one that's going to have the children for a majority of the time, not you. This is the part where I actually agree with her. Only in this aspect, her actual point holds some type of weight. Because what's going to happen is it's going to cause a strife amongst the kids. Okay? That part, I'm with you. That part, I'm with you. But if it was just about that, you'd have taken the meal, right? And said, you know what? And agreed to his point. Said, you know what? Let me go and get him, bring him down to you, and you guys eat the McDonald's in the car. And then when he comes back up, you'll come back upstairs, right? Now, the most he's gonna do is probably brag about having McDonald's, but at least the kids don't get to see it. Yeah. At least the kids don't see him again, and they don't see the young man also eating food. Right. So I can understand that point, but then the solution was given. And as soon as the solution was given, she shut down the solution, which means it's no longer about the optics. The optics is only a part of your excuse as to why you're actually angry. Right? About why you're actually angry. You're not angry about him bringing one food for one child. You're angry at something else and you're displacing it onto one man. Right? You have several baby daddies, it sounds like, who, when he asked, where are all those other baby daddies? You were quiet. Right? You were quiet. You didn't say anything. Because where are they? And then you continued the argument further. You wanted to go in again because this is not about the McDonald's. This is no longer about the child. This is about you and how you feel. I need you to get out of your ass. And I need you to start smelling the Kenko coffee because it's strong in the air right now. Right? There were so many different ways to handle this situation. You know, there's so many different ways to handle a situation, and it's a difficult one. But the frustration that she came with, yeah, that's a madness. Okay, let's have a little bit more. Sorry, I missed something. Also, I want you to listen to what she says. She said, that is not enough for all my kids. This is very important. The word my, very important. It's a pronoun that is saying I own this. Yeah? I own this. I own it. Okay? So at this point in time, when she says that's my kids. Oh, sorry. I took off the playback. You couldn't hear it. Apologies. All right. All she said is it's my kids. Sorry, that's what I was saying. She said my kids. Now, this is really important because when she says that's my kids, you're right, sis. That's your kids. But if you listen later on, when she starts saying, but that's your son's siblings, she changes the ownership. Right? She changes the ownership. This is really important because now we know where you're trying to put the ownership on. You say, this is my kids. It's my kids, it's my kids, it's my kids, right? Because you're talking, because again, it wasn't about the kids, it was about you having ownership and your control over the situation. And then when you wanted him to do what you wanted him to do, you said, that's your kids' siblings. She didn't leave it as, that's my kids' siblings. She wanted to flip it onto him, that's your kids' siblings. When you wanted him to pay the money, that's your kids' siblings. So you've even made a distinction when you're trying to talk about the situation. It's very interesting to see this and how people kind of use language anyway. But let me play a bit more and we'll go into it.
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you
them my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't give my food stamps to the siblings.
Listen, is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son.
How are you helping your?
And this is another thing also, it's really interesting. I've actually heard this one of these comments before, actually, from an argument between a baby mother and a baby father, which was, you say you're trying to help out, but you're not I'm trying to do what I need to do for my child. So when she's saying, you are you're trying to help me out, he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to hear you out. No. I'm trying to make sure my child is taken care of. So it's really interesting how she made this a whole thing about trying to help out. And then that means now, if you're trying to help out, this is how I expect to be helped out. Well, listen, at the end of the day, I'm not helping you out. If I was helping you out, then yeah, I could hear you. But he's not helping you out. He's trying to do what he's trying to do for his child. Right? So your frustrations and your anger at this moment are not really for the fact that he only brought one meal. It's the fact that your situation around you stinks right now.
Where you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings. Them are his siblings, though. He's not finna eat in front of all his other siblings, and they're not eating on McDonald's. No.
And see, when you don't have a very solid argument, this is the problem with not having solid arguments when you're arguing from a place of the emotional side of things. She said he's not the child is not about to eat in front of all his other siblings and have food. Fine. And that's when he says, all right, cool, I'm going to bring the food to the car and he can be in the car with me. Okay, that's what is happening. If we go by her logic, let's go by her logic. He goes to buy something for his son. He has to buy that 4 times over. You don't even always do that for your kids. Okay, McDonald's is a small food wise, but okay, if he buys some Jordans, is he supposed to buy Jordans for all the kids now? Right? How was he supposed to know you hadn't had your food stamps up until this point? Have you communicated that with him? Have you let him know? Is he aware that in fact the food stamps haven't come, so none of the kids are eating? I don't know. Right? That's where communication comes in. You know what I mean? That's where communication comes in. I'll be honest with you. This situation, having a blended family and then blending it and not really having a blended family and then not being actually together, it's very difficult having multiple children, because if there is a prominent father, there is an unfairness that can come into it. There's an unfairness that can come into it. There's an unfairness that can come into it. So we really want to look into it and be like, we want to look into it as well and be like, hey, hold on a minute. Where do we go from here? And exactly, it is a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope to go down and start that process where I'm always now buying things for every kid. Look, let's be honest. Can I be honest with you? It would be better to do so. It'd be better that if you were to buy McDonald's, you bought it for all the kids. It would be better that if you bought Jordans for one kid, you bought all the Jordans for one kid. Right? Would have been better. Right? It would be better. It would be more sensible. Right? It would be. Right? It would be so much more nicer. But he's not, again, and the clear word is here, he's not obligated to do so. There is nothing ethically, morally now we can say we're holding them to that. You know what I mean? If I bought a gift for that child, look, it's almost as if someone knows you at someone at school. At school, like someone said it'd be better if Windrush never happened. If that's the patriarchy, listen, I've got no time for you, bro. Listen, if you're not going to be sensible, don't come around here, brother. I'm going to be honest with you. I will just block you. I have not got time for your nonsense today. Patriarchy strikes back. I remember you from where I was. So if you're not going to be sensible today, I'll quickly block you. So behave yourself today. All right, listen. So like, honestly, in this situation, like if you follow this trend, it becomes very difficult. Like everything, I'm multiplying it by 4. And that can be very difficult. And like I said, just block. I'm just gonna block. I haven't got time. Patriarchy, I've got no time for you, brother. Today, you don't have time. You know, annoying. Anyway, so he came over from another live. He was moving mad last live. It was another lover live on someone else's channel, and he's followed me here. But honestly, like if you look at it for the situation, right? Yeah, if we follow this trend and follow it all the way through the situation, like I said, even in families where there is a father figure who's present, even all the kids don't get all the same things. You look at your siblings and your lifestyle, and you realize not everything you got was literally, not literally everything you got was equal. It does happen. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't always happen, but would it be nice to do so? Yes, it would. So, but again, that is not his child. Okay, that again is not his child. Therefore, he's not good. Like what? So now does he have to start paying child support for all 4 kids? Should he now also pay for child support for all 4 kids? Right? Does he do that now? Because do you know what? Your kids haven't got food stamps. Does he now pay child support for all 4 kids? You know what I mean? It's following the trend through. That's what I'm trying to say. Like following the pattern through, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? So the best thing to do here would have been just bring the young man down, let him sit with his dad, take some time out, an hour or 2, dad can drive him around or whatever, and then have some food. And it would have been calm. He goes back to his house, and it's like a child leaving a home for a few days, go see their dad and come back. It is what it is, you know? And that'd have been it. That would have been a sensible, viable solution. Like that'd have been sensible. It's political, you know? So it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If the roles were reversed, would we expect, that's a good question. If the roles were reversed, would we expect the mother to bring food for the other man's kids? If she's not with him, no. If she's not with him, no. Yeah, not all the, no. If she's not with him, she's not obligated. If they were together, I would be cussing him. Yeah, I'm like, well, you knew what you were getting yourself into. But no, they're split up. So she has to accept that. And I think the bigger issue is that she cannot accept that. I think she's still really still trying to figure out. I think she's really still paining from the actual breakup. Let's
Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him
No. He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody.
Lisa, so you telling me that I gotta bring? So when I bring my son food, I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound dumb.
How is that dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb.
Where are their daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all.
Lisa,
How do that shit look that I'm letting one child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's?
So
you know I get food stamps on the 11th.
That ain't 3 kids that ain't mine. 3 kids that ain't mine.
And I'm gonna say something now, and maybe some people will disagree or agree here. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna say this. Men, here's the thing. Men, I'm gonna tell you something, okay? If you're finding yourself in a situation, it's time to go to court and get a court order. Okay? I honestly think some of you men need to start taking these kids full time. Yeah. Okay? If you can see that she is not fit for service, I think some of you men need to go to court and try and get full custody, or at least get some kind of custody. Because what's happening is, remember, whoever, and this is whether I agree with this or not, right? Whoever has the child most times is going to be in control of this particular scenario. If the person holds the children for 5 out of 7 days, or 20 out of 30 days, or whatever, right? What you have to realize is they have an element of control over these transactions with each other, right? So if this is becoming a problem for men, and this is the only thing I encourage men to do, is stop trying to get a freebie pass without the court. Go to court. Find the money, go to court. Because some women are really not going to have it. Go to court, get your visitation days. You know what I mean? Like some of you, you've got crazy baby mothers. Let's be honest, you have. Please go to court and get visitation days. You know, please. Right? Please go and do it. Okay? All right? You know, I honestly, someone said the courts don't favor men in the States. The courts don't favor black folk, but you still got to go into court and fight your battle. It's that simple. Right? It's that simple. There's no other thing, because this becomes an excuse now for us as men that the courts don't favor men. The courts don't favor you as a black person, to be honest. But you still gotta go. Okay? All right? Go and do what you gotta do. Right? Go and do what you gotta do. It's a battle you got to go and face. Fight it. Go and fight. Let's not let this get out of your hands. The child is yours. So that's what I'm saying about also men. Is I can't accept that, right? I can't accept that. You know what I'm saying? Like these situations, someone said the court will cost more than a few more extra burgers. Absolutely. Yes, it will cost probably more than your burgers, but guess what? The peace that you'll have after is much better than the burgers that you're buying every single time, right? The peace. So my thing is, you know, my thing is here in this situation is we really got to start having a place where men start going to court. Right? Even if it means you're just having whatever is it, maybe not sole custody, but half what is it, like visitation days, or you know, joint custody, I should say, sorry. Even if you're getting joint custody, right? Do that. But if you don't, you leave yourself in a space where you are going to always be at the mercy of this other parent. Right? Absolutely. Thank you, Najee. Thank you. You know, this is also a very good point. You know, people saying that obviously it favors men. The court don't. You know, when you don't learn law, this is how as black people we also get taken advantage of with a certain demographic. They know law. You know, once you know law, once you know law, you have to understand how we're gonna have to operate. That means getting smarter. I just don't want to give us any excuses as men. I really don't. I don't want to be giving excuses. Go to court, get the joint custody, go and fight. You know, go and fight. That's what I'm trying to say. Go to court, go fight your battle, custody. It may cost a bit more. It may cost your time a bit more. The truth of the matter is, it benefits us as men, specifically sometimes, not to go to court. It's like, well, she has it for 5 out of 7 days or 6 out of 7 days. I can just stop looking after I can just stop going after my child. But you need to be on job, my friend. It's your child. Yeah. Don't let this woman who's here now completely rob you of the opportunity to spend time with your child. No, you know. Let's get in there. Let's get into court if we have to, you know, and let's and take that up with the judge and be like, hey, look, you know, go and do your research. You know, go and do your research. So, you know, these things, look, I hear that, you know, I hear that, you know, but if you don't try, you've quitted already. You know what I mean? If you don't try, you've quit already. So yeah, go to court. Go to court. And I know some of you are probably going to be thinking it will end up paying some child support. You will. So, and it'll be compulsory. You will. But you still need to, you know, you still need to go to the court for that certain situations. You know what I mean? All right. It's important to do so, right?
Yeah, there had siblings. You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me.
No, I did.
Yes, you did.
You expect me to take care of They're not my kids.
Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids.
Do you notice what she said? She said, you knew what you was getting into when you got with me. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, listen. This is one of the accountability pieces I would say for the young man, right? She's absolutely right. You knew exactly what you was getting into. Okay? Absolutely. You've got to take accountability. Right? Because you knew exactly what you were getting into. All right. When you started getting into madness, bro. That is where your accountability comes in. That is why I'm saying go to court, because that's also a part of your accountability. Because now you've had this issue, it's not going to go smoothly. You chose somebody who wasn't smooth. All right, you got to go to court. If you choose this type of one, what do you think is going to happen? Yeah, accountability. We're going to talk about the woman, and we're going to talk about her all day, about how she's being entitled, she's moving mad, and I agree. But we're going to call you out on accountability, sir. You knew she was crazy before this time. Okay, Okay, 2 hours. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you for the thank you for educating me on that. I didn't know about that. Appreciate it. You're gonna have to take some accountability. You're gonna have to take some accountability. Okay? You went and got with this girl who you knew was moving mad. How did you not see it? One night or not, fam? Why did you not put a condom on it, fam? I hate some wild stories. Listen, it is very rare. I want someone to type in the chat. Somebody tell me, somebody that knows somebody who the condom didn't work for. I want somebody to type in the chat. We have 293 people here. Can I get somebody to tell me how many people will know someone who the condom didn't work for? I want to know. I want to know who out there knows somebody who the condom didn't work for. Just type it in the chat. If you've got someone you know, personally, you know them. Not a story your mum told you on WhatsApp, but you personally know them. I want to know if the condom didn't work for them. I want to know. Tell me. I want to know. I want to know that person. Put it in the chat and say, I know somebody. Okay? Turn to your neighbor and ask them, do you know somebody? Turn to your neighbor and say to him, do you know somebody who the condom didn't work for? I want you to know. Ask me. Okay? So even this, thank you, Ray, is that the condom broke. Okay? Again, it is very rare. It is very rare this happens. Right? Very rare. Okay? Y'all need to start putting something on the end of it. And stop telling me it feels good. It feels good. It feels good. It feels good. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah? It feels good. It feels good. It feels good. I don't care how good it feels. Because now you're in this situation, all right? And you're now sweating, vexed, angry, and now you got to go to court to go and even get a child visitation or joint custody. So most times it's not because the condom breaks. It's because you didn't wear a condom. Okay? I'll be honest with you. I'm not trusting you because you're on birth pills. I cannot trust you on birth pills. I cannot trust you on birth pills. I'm sorry. Woo. No. No. Okay. I can't trust you on that. So no. You know what I mean? Someone said condom saved my life. Amen. And it shall continue to save many people's more lives. Okay. Especially when we got Roe versus Wade turned over. It should save a few more lives. Stop going out with no condom, please. Okay. Yes, expired condoms, you shouldn't be using them. Okay, guys, you should always be checking the packaging as well. Make sure, like it's political out here, fam. As for me, it's only once the condom has broken on me. Other than that, no. Please wrap up, man. Them, okay?
Because I'm exposing. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're foolish in this. You only come here with one piece of food for one child.
Now, she said obviously she's vexed because she's also saying that she's saying, obviously, look, she's vexed because what? Look, listen to what she's saying. It's really interesting. She's vexed because he's being presented as a really amazing dad, but she's saying she sees differently. So there's also an annoyance at the fact that him not, and this is something I've learned as well about these relationships, is him not doing as much of the workload, but reaping the benefits from it. Okay, all right. Him not reaping. Okay, him not reaping him reaping the benefits, but doing less work. So it seems is such a frustrating thing in these relationships. Bit like rearing up a child for 18 years and child then says he wants to get to know the father. It's like, wait, what? I reared you for 18 years. It's painful. So when she makes that comment, I realize, okay, so you're annoyed also at the fact that he's getting praised for being a good father, but you think he could be doing more. That's what you think. You think he can be doing more. You think he's not doing enough. And therefore, your anger is spilling over in this moment. You know what I mean? Okay. Someone said, learn how to put on a condom using water-based lube. There you go. I mean, I don't know if I use a lube thing for that, but that's a conversation for another day, I guess. But here we say, you know what? I mean to invite the sex. I have to invite the sex therapist back, and we're gonna do some just expert teaching. You know what I mean? Really simple teaching. I think that's be good, don't you think?
Child, that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed nobody at all. Then he can't take that. He can't eat it.
Maybe if you had one or two, I could maybe. You got it's 3 extra kids. What the? You all like going to my mother account, spending money on all those kids. They're not my kids.
Them are your kids.
So here we go. Do you know what? It's so interesting. Did you hear what he said? This is so interesting. What's so interesting is that he said something so interesting. He said, maybe if you had 1 or 2 more kids, I could have done this. But you have 3 or 4 kids extra. So you realize also as well how money can affect us, right? Money is a very important tool. He doesn't have the money to be doing 4, not comfortably anyway. Not that he doesn't have money for 4 McDonald's, but to do this every single time, no, he doesn't have that. Right? He really doesn't have that kind of money to be doing 3 or 4 kids. Right? So a money issue also plays a role in sometimes the tenacity and the resistance in a relationship as well that can happen as well. So yeah, that's also a key point to pay in mind.
Siblings though. Dumb.
So that's what you gonna go with? That's the one you gonna
Those are your fucking kids' siblings.
So that means
yeah. So don't. No, I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you bring one something to eat.
I bring them food every other day. What do you mean?
Exactly, but you don't never bring food for the other ones. You know I get my food stamps on the 11th.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard it. Did you guys hear it? Yes, thank you, Jeanette. He said literally he brings food every other day. So if he's bringing food every other day, yeah, I'm sorry, bruv. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't do it every other day. Okay, I can't do that for your kid. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. And because I don't also have the obligation, why am I sacrificing me to help your kids, which have actual fathers, and I'm not with you? Do you understand? Like, you can make that sacrifice when you are in a relationship with that person and then you're looking after the kids. But to make it when you're not with the person, that's a problem. So bringing food every other day to that, I can't play like that.
Okay, but I'm saying we share the same kid as well.
Absolutely. So if you want to, if you feel like I feel away about eating, take him in the room and let him.
I'm not taking my kid in the room.
Down to the car. He ain't even got eat in front of his brother. He come right out to the car and eat with me.
No. You know what? Fine. Give it here.
Thank you.
Give it here. Give it here. Give it here. Doug, he ain't eating this. You.
Why don't you just do that?
Because you ain't bringing up for all the other kids. You stupid. selfish as a like you're dumb as hell. You're dumb as hell. He's not finna eat that.
Now, when your anger gets to the point where you're going to just throw the food on the floor, you realize this is no longer about the food. It's no longer about the food. It's this. This is no longer about the food. This is now about how you feel and you wanting to have control over this situation because you took the food and just threw it on the floor. Babe, why did you take it? Why did you take it? Because you wanted to take it and throw it on the floor. Right? Now, when you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, this is what can happen. Now, sis needs to really assess her situation properly, understand where this comes from. Darling, you have a child of one man who's willing to do what he needs to do for his child. Operate in a calm, serene fashion. He's not disrespecting you. He's coming to give food to his child. If you don't agree, you could have found a viable solution. You didn't want to find a viable solution. You wanted to be angry. You wanted him to do something that you would have on camera as an excuse as to why he's a bad baby daddy. You wanted footage. You were entrapping him. You were trying to prod him. You were trying to trigger him, trying to get him to react in a mad way that would give you justification for your actual anger that you're feeling right now. Because, and this is why I say to some of my guys who are dealing with, if they're dealing with a baby mother like this, don't give her the reaction that she wants. Stop giving it. Don't give her the reaction that she wants. You see, what's happening is a lot of baby mothers are still bitter and hurt from the breakup with you. They're still bitter and hurt with the fact that they are laden with the responsibility. They're bitter and hurt because they're having to financially contribute quite a lot. Their time is gone. Their energy is gone. There's a lot of hurt and pain there from having a child and a relationship not working out, or being a single mother in that sense, right? That starts playing, right? So in this instance, as a man, if you play her game, you'll lose. You'll lose. All that needs to be done is, listen, you start taking notes. On this date, X, Y, Z, da, da, da. On this date, da, 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 da. On this date, da, 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 da. You do what you're supposed to do, and then you document, because the day is coming when you're going to court. A day is coming, you're going to court. Okay? And so that's what I'm saying to you. Like, I say to my guys, like, don't let her bring you out of pocket. She wants you to be out of pocket because she's trying to hurt you because she wants you to feel how she's feeling. Don't let her bring you out of pocket. Don't let her bring you out of pocket. Leave the situation if you need to. Don't let her bring you out of pocket. Right? Don't let her bring you out of pocket. Right? Don't come out of pocket. You have to start playing smart, because what you getting annoyed and getting vexed at that moment, it doesn't play into our favor. It doesn't play into our favor. So yeah, so it is what it is. Okay, let's just play the clip where I think there was a clip where she spoke in her figure thing. Let's just have a look. Ooh, golly.
Bashing me right now because
okay, let's play this from the beginning.
So the whole world is basically bashing me right now because I'm the baby mama who was upset at her baby daddy because he only decided to give his child McDonald's and not the rest of my other 3 kids. I have 4 kids. You knew the situation when you dated me. Our child is the youngest child.
It's interesting. Here, she used our child. It's the first time I've used our child. She either made it yours or mine. when she was talking about it in the last video. Today, she said, our child. She's trying to buy our sympathy, baby. You can't save it now. You can't save it now, baby. Go ahead, though.
So keep that in mind before y'all make me the villain. That means all my other kids knew him. He was buying the McDonald's when we were together. My kids have to go through a transition of our breakup as well. Like, yeah, me and you broke up, but my kids got to feel it too. So now my kids have to see only one of their siblings get McDonald's and not the rest of them. And they know it's coming from you because, of course, like me and you used to be together. They used to see you. You used to do it for them. But now you don't want to do that for them anymore. Like, to me, that's petty. That's petty. Like, it's not fair. Like, you're not finna give one child McDonald's and not all the other kids McDonald's. Like, I'm not going. And then on top of that, you mean to tell me you can dib and dab and want to do it sometimes, but yet you can't feed all my other kids McDonald's though? That's what you mean to tell me? Like, I'm not going for that. I'm going to stand on what I said, and I don't care what everybody else have to say about it. Y'all could judge me. Oh, well, I could be the villain, but I said what I said. Like, if you can't bring everybody McDonald's, then can't nobody have McDonald's then. Period.
That sounds like if I can't have you, nobody else can. Did you get that energy as well? If I can't have you, no one else can. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. So they're still obviously having sex as well. Okay. Let me just say this for anybody out there. Listen, baby, if you're vexed that he's still able to tap it, stop letting him tap it. Okay. You're angry that he's still tapping it and they're not doing what a partner should be doing. It's because you're no longer in a relationship and you're letting him hit it. Stop letting him hit it. Why are you still letting him dip and dabble inside of you? Okay. And then you're complaining that he's not doing his role when you have not asked for him to be in that role. Smell a Kinko coffee. Yeah. You are allowing him to hit it. All right. You're allowing him to hit it. Okay. You're allowing him to hit it. And then you're expecting him to be what? To be someone who's going to also play the role of the father figure. He's no longer in that position. If you want that, tie him to that role. Tie him to that role. You can't hit it unless you're with me. Then when he's with you, that expectation of looking after the kids comes with it. Other than that, if I'm just do you know how mad you sound? I'm hitting it, and you want me to pay for your kid too. All right, that's madness. Sorry, no, babe. I need you to fix up. I need you to fix up real quick, right? Let's just roll it back slightly.
That means all my other kids knew him. He was buying the McDonald's when we were together. My kids have to go through a transition of our breakup as well. Like, yeah, me and you broke up, but my kids got to feel it too. So now my kids have to see only one of their siblings get McDonald's and not the rest of them. And they know.
Yes, that's what happens. Unfortunately, in a blended family, that's what happens. Okay. All right. That's what happens. It's unfortunate. It comes with the territory. All right. It comes with the territory. Okay. All right. Just like he might end up buying him some Jordans and not all the kids are going to get Jordans. Just like he might buy him a PS5 and not all the kids are going to get a PS5. Okay. It comes with the territory. Unfortunately, trying to create a nucleus of perfection, a nuclear family perfection, it doesn't exist anymore. Once you have several kids with different partners, that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, you've got to wipe that idea out of your head. Let it go, like it's Frozen and Ella. Let it go, because what you have done is you're trying to build upon a perfectionist image that doesn't exist anymore. You have several baby daddies, meaning the picture is no longer just unique, yourself and myself. So in that case, you saying about favoritism, there's always going to be some favoritism, but I agree. Let's not do it in front of him. Let's not let him do it in front of them. Fantastic. I can agree with that, right? Let's do it. Let's do this in the car. your kids know. Your kids pretty much know in some shape or form that, hey, there's another guy who's not their dad. They agree. They know that already. What's going to happen? What are you going? Are you going to fight him when he wants to buy Jordans for his son? Are you going to fight him when he buys a new top for your son? Are you going to fight him when he buys him new jogging bottoms or something? You going to fight him for that? Are you going to say, well, if all of them don't get jogging bottoms, then none of them get jogging bottoms? Because guess what? Guess what's going to happen? He's going to buy stuff for that child, and when he does buy stuff for that child, the other kids are not going to have it. What are you going to do then? I agree. Let's not put the McDonald's in front of someone's eye. Let's not do it right in front of their eye. If we can avoid it, fantastic. If we can avoid it, fan-freaking-tastic. Let's try and avoid it. Right? I said this already. I don't mind. Take the kid out, go to the park, go to the car, go to McDonald's itself. It's a day out or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's fine. But either way, they're going to have issues. And when he did propose that to you, you rejected it. And you're still arguing, saying, my kids are not going to know that you have McDonald's. Well, if he took him out for a day, your kids are going to know that he's been taken out somewhere for the day. They're still going to feel resentful. So what are we going to do? If he takes him out for the day, the other kids are going to know he's been taken out for a day. So is he going? Does he take all the kids out as well at the same time? Should he take all 4 kids out at the same time? Right? Should he now come and take all the 4 kids down? Right? I get what you're trying to say. I do understand what you're trying to say. It's the optics you're talking about. Like it being right in front of the person, the optics. I'm with you. All right? It's right in front of you. I get it. The optics being right in front of you is different, like out of sight, out of mind. I agree with you. But let's have some common sense here and some decorum and just like, look, be sensible, wisdom. All right, listen, but if she had said to him, listen, look, I don't want to have you have the McDonald's up there because the kids are going to see it right in front of them. Let's have this. Let's have this in the car. You know what I mean? Let's do this. Can you do this in the car? Then if he decided, no, I'm not going to do the car, you have to do it upstairs, then we would all be on your side. We'd all be on your side. We'd be on your side. We'd be saying, we understand what you're saying. We're with you. Yeah, it makes sense. We'd say that. But that's not what you were getting vexed at. So I can't really be on your side. You know what I mean?
It was coming from you because, of course, like me and you used to be together. They used to see you. You used to do it for them. But now you don't want to do that for them anymore. Like, to me, that's petty.
Pause. And she said, and you don't want to do that for them anymore. That's petty. What's petty? That is where you're missing the point, sis. That's not petty anymore. I don't own those kids. They are not my bloodline. Okay? They're not my bloodline. All right? So in the end, okay, I don't have obligation. Right? I don't have obligation. So, like, whether we think it's right or wrong, I don't have obligation. It's what it is. Right? Yeah. There's no obligation. You know what I mean? So she tried, and here's my thing. She tried to do something. She tried to expose him to try and show everybody he's so bad. All she did was further enhance his reputation. That's all. That's all. All she did was further enhance his reputation. Do you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, look, you tried to expose him, you tried to do one better, you thought you were in the right. And that's what I'm talking about, the entitlement. And that's why I said that the consideration of wisdom is not there present. You haven't really shown that. You know what I mean? You haven't really shown that. So you're not really thinking correctly at this moment. You're thinking you've won and you're right. That's why you recorded. But all it did was made you in a bad light. I just need you to deep that. It didn't actually aid your situation. It made you look worse. It made you look bad. That's somebody who's not thinking very straightly. Do you know what I mean? Someone said it's disrespectful to get food and not consider children knowing they don't have food. It should have been discussed before he got the food, and he should have sacrificed his food for all the kids. He doesn't have to. I think this is the point we're trying to make. So I agree. He could have done this. He doesn't have to. That's the key point. I could have done this, but I don't have to. And when do I stop? Next month, do we do the same again? And the month after, do I say again? And the month after, if I do the same again? So in his head, he could be saying, like, I don't want to start down that process, down that line. I'm just going to just do it for my own child. Doesn't have to. But it would be nice. I said that earlier on. It would be nice, but he didn't have to. All right. So yeah. Jack Double says, please don't turn into one of those dorks talking about women do wrong. You're better. Okay. All right, cool. What else was said? You know, it's interesting, this thing. Someone said, yes, 2 hours. This is exactly what it is. It's consideration versus obligation, you know, and that's what you have to understand. There's gonna be no perfect scenario. That's why I brought up the Jordan situation, because then if we're saying we're on the side of consideration, what happens to other kids if they see him get Jordans? I'm just using Jordans as an example. It doesn't mean actual Jordans. Let's say Nike. If he gets Nikes or he gets a brand new T-shirt, consideration would say get the other kids a T-shirt as well. Where would it stop? Do you know what I'm saying? Because if we're talking about consideration, that's going to cause jealousy all the way. So I'm saying to you, like, the issue isn't about the food given to the kid. It's about managing these expectations and making people understand that, look, unfortunately, this is the scenario we're going to be in, where there's going to be difficulty in terms of the fact that, unfortunately, in this situation, he has a child with that woman. That's the only child, you know. Someone said the lack of generosity in black men is evident here. I don't think that's even fair to even say, and I think I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. And I think the fact that it goes into, you know, notice I've not said it's about a black woman. I just said it's men and women and mother and daughter. I think you've made it into something that it's not quickly already. Looking at the scenario, and then you've gone into black men are lacking generosity. It's evident here. Tells me you already have a narrative in your head. You already have a narrative in your head. Like, if you can read this scenario and go, he lacks generosity, I'm looking at you like, if that's what you got from the situation, I think you already have a narrative about how you see black men. Simple as. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but I'm just going by what you've kind of put there. Do you know what I mean? But if you've made it that way, it's a bit interesting. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's see. Oh, is it? Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't think of that. So obviously, it could be a white man pretending. It could be. To be honest, you're right. It could be. There's people that try to do nonsense. Okay. Okay. So I think you're right, because Ashun's here talking about white folks ain't talking about it. Yeah. Do you know what, Ashun? Listen, one more comment like that will have you out the door. You're not helping. You're one of those people that are here to cause this motion and commotions. We might need you out of here, man. We might need you out of here, man, if you continue. Yeah. So no, you know, I get it. Again, someone said they went viral discussing it in the Middle East. Lord. They finally did it. You know, They finally did it. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I think in this situation, I think I can see where she was coming from. I can see where, what this young lady might have been trying to say, but I think she's gone about it completely the wrong way. I think she has used her entitlement. I think she has got herself to the point where, she got herself to the point where she's now positioned herself and created an enemy in the one man that seems to be coming and actually helping. You should be trying to solicit his aid. It should be soliciting his aid rather than trying to create an enemy in another person. The amount of anger she had tells me this is not about the food. See, that's what I'm trying to get to the point with to some people. Like, it's not about the food. If it was about the food, the anger she would have had would have never been this level. The anger would have never been that. If it was about the food and the kids, really being about the kids, the level of anger she had would have never reached this level. The anger she has does not compute to what she's actually saying. That's when you know that something's not quite right. You're saying that other kids haven't got the food. Yo, disappointment. Okay, frustration. But the fact is, this is the only one baby father you have that's actually responding to you. And then this one person who's doing a baby daddy is trying to do his bit with his child. You're wanting him to take over all the other fathers who haven't done their job. It's a problem. It's a problem. So it's no longer about the food, which is why I'm saying the anger doesn't match the actual issue and her actual points. You know what I mean? It doesn't match. Queen won't quit said, how do you not think of the other kids? Simply put, I don't have the money to think about them. I don't have the money to think about them. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't have the money to think about them. If he had £1 million, he probably wouldn't care. Right? Probably wouldn't care. But does he have an obligation towards these kids? No. No. He has no obligation towards his kids. He is not their father. He's no longer in a relationship. Therefore, he does not have to think about those kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, it's tight. It's tight. It's tight. Someone said, if that's the case, just say you don't have it and let her figure it out. No, because that's my child as well. That's our child. So I'm relating to you on our child. That's like, would you find it creepy if he's dealing with one I said, I want to speak to all the kids. I don't want to speak to my kids. I want to speak to all the kids. Or if you wanted to discipline not just his kid, but all the other kids. Wouldn't you find it creepy? He's not with them anymore. Wouldn't that be a bit mad? Let's just go on what you said. Like, wouldn't that be a bit weird? He has a relationship with you based on one child, but he's like, I want to speak to all the kids. And then he also wants to discipline all the other kids, but his relationship is only with one kid. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I personally wouldn't, be trying to pay for all the kids. I think that's going to be a very hefty road to go down. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a bit peak. And it's sad. It's sad, but I would want to. You'd want to be able to do that. Someone said, "Why is there no sense of obligation though? If we can't do for 4 kids, how can we do for a community?" Because that privilege is only for those who are not, and this is why I said she shouldn't be letting them hit it. But that privilege, unfortunately, goes out the window when the relationship changes. When the relationship dynamics change, so does responsibility. Right? Before he had a dynamic and a relationship beforehand, meaning he would have to look after those kids. Right? In that case, then the relationship will require a responsibility. What you're saying is a school should be responsible for a child that doesn't go to school no more. They're not in a jurisdiction. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not my jurisdiction anymore. I don't have that role anymore. Can I do that? Yes. You're asking a teacher who no longer teaches at the school to still care about the students all the way. Students, he or she may not care about the students anymore. They've left that school. You know what I mean? They've left that school. Now, it would be a good consideration for that teacher to still have a heart for the students. That even after school, they reach out to him or her and they convene and they talk, and him or her is still helping the kids. Fantastic. But often, more times than not, when a teacher leaves that school, so does their obligation, because the relationship is no longer there. Right? So that's not necessarily about community. That's not his community anymore. The community you're talking about in this instance is where the mothers, the grandmas, the granddads, the fathers of the daughter are supposed to now make sure, right, that the other kids are taken care of. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what's meant to happen. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the person meant to respond, because that's their daughter now. You know? So yeah. You know, that's what I would say about community. You know what I mean? In that instance. You know. So I said I helped plenty family members with their kids because I didn't have any, but guess what? No, not anymore. You better man and woman. You know what I mean? Like, yo, do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, so, and in that case, you know, in that case, you know, you have to be able to look at the wider scope of community to talk about this. Community doesn't mean it's him. It's a wider scope of community, meaning the mother, the father on her side, the granddad on her side, the grandma on her side, extended friendships on her side. That's the community. You know what I mean? That's the community. Like, that's what we should be thinking about. You know what I mean? If you're talking about community, when did we ever have a community when did we ever have a community where the man would be leaving a woman who had kids with different people and still paying for her? When did we ever have that community? That community never existed. That community you're talking about has never existed, where a man leaves leaves the girl that he's with, has a child, and she has other baby fathers, and then goes, I'm gonna still pay for all those kids. What community are you talking about here? That's never been a community we know. That has not been a community we ever know. What community are you talking about? You see, you're talking about a dystopia that has never existed. Or I should say utopia. It's never existed. Tell me a time where that was what was happening. Tell me a time where that utopia existed. It's never existed. You know? It's never really existed. If I'm not with you anymore, I'm not paying for your stuff anymore. Like, I'm not paying for you anymore. Like, what world did that exist in? What community did that ever exist in? It's never existed. So you're using a utopia of what it should be versus what is reality. We've never had that. Go back as far as when we had communities. It wasn't that. It's immediate family. You know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that. So yeah. You know, so what someone said in this demographic, in this that's not realistic in this demographic. I don't think paying for 4 kids is realistic either. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like something like this, I get. Like something like this, I understand, right? Let's say, for instance, like you said, you're paying rent after lease is up. That I get. You help her still pay the lease or whatever. That I understand. You know what I mean? Because you are obligated to, because you are still there, blah blah. But again, after that, not really obligated to. But I'll say, you know, as divorce, someone said, as divorce lawyer, some clients were happy to pay for their children's section, but you were a divorce lawyer. People were married. Does it look like they were married? They weren't married. Therefore, obligations are different. Also, it really depends on the dynamic of that child and father or child and father relationship. Was there an extensive child and father relationship? Come on, let's be real now. Let's really be real now. What's the dynamic between the father and the children's relationship, the stepchildren? Let's be real. You know, if there's been an extensive period of time, then yeah, people are out here just having sex, and you want them to be accustomed to paying. They're not paying for nothing, cause you know what I mean. I don't think that is gonna work. You know what I mean. So yeah, I get it though, but yeah, not in this situation. Someone said, Mr. Campbell said, I've been to court and it was worth every dime. Joint custody was awarded as well as child support, and it was worth it. Yep. I hear that. I hear that indeed. All right, cool. Listen, so I'm going to leave it there. I think we've talked about this long enough. You know, maybe there'll be another topic we'll bring to the foreground. You know, Sean said, Sean, do you want me to send you a link, Sean? Let me send you the link. Hold on. Let me send Sean the link. Maybe I don't know if he's free actually. He might be at work saying that. My bad. It's only 12 for you guys, isn't it? It's not. It's still early for you guys. I just realized. Sorry. I'll send you a link anyway. But I know you're probably at work because it's only 12. But yeah, no, it's an interesting one. Do you know what I mean? It's another interesting one. To be fair. Yeah, it's a lot still. She rehearsed cat for the cat. Someone said she had she oh man. All right, sure. I'll put the link in there for you, Sean, real quick. Yeah, no. Someone said it should be held accountable for the cap. It's not her fault. It's not her fault, man. She's out here trying to trend. You know what I mean? I'm not even mad at it. I think it's helped us have conversation though. You know, I'm not mad at it. It's helped us have conversation. So as long as it helps us have a conversation, I am good at that. And I'm happy with that. So yeah, it's cool. You know. Laughboy said someone's ready to pay the bill or two, man. 10204 Strike Back said you must be crazy to have a child with a woman who really has kids. No, I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think that's the case at all. I personally don't want that, but I don't think it's crazy at all. There are some great women out there who have children, who make great wives, you know, and bonus mums and bonus dads. So no, I don't think that's crazy at all. I don't think it's crazy at all. And I think to have a narrative that is crazy, I don't think it's a very fair narrative at all. I think there are some really great women out there who have children and they will make great mums and great wives. You know, so, and we have some really great tales. Maybe we should even do a video on this as well. I'd love to do a video on this. Anybody who has a stepdad in their life or stepmom in their life and has had a positive influence on them, you know, maybe we should get a live like that, because I think that'll be such a powerful thing to show people that if you're really serious about, you know, coming in and blending family and being serious about having a family unit, you know, this is very, very important. You know, so listen, I will never call anybody crazy to do it. You know, I'm not taking care of no man's kids, bun that. That's fair enough. That's for you. You know, that's for you. And we pray and we pray and we pray you never get into a situation where you have to leave your wife or girlfriend and she has your kids and then someone else has to fill in your gap because you won't always be there. So let's pray that's never your situation. That's what I'm saying to you, that the way you're phrasing it, be very careful. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Do you know what I mean? Uh Okay, Cece said she was trying to make a point. Let me see that. Working with kids, I used to hate when kids brought food outside food. So maybe that's why I think food and drugs aren't the same. Fair enough. I hear you. I would love to speak on that topic. Yes, Dahlia. Okay, send me an email, Dahlia. Send me an email. Let me put my email in the chat for you. Send me an email, because I think that would be really, really good, just to talk about, just talk about this kind of stuff. I think it's good to hear testimonies of people that have had stepdads in their life or stepmoms in their life who've had a positive influence. Honestly, it's powerful when you hear it. It makes you when you see those videos of a man or a young man or young girl saying, "I want to, can you adopt me?" I have tears in my eyes, nigga. Sorry, I have tears in my eyes, guys. All right, let me get Sean on. Let me get him into fullness. Sorry, my bad, bro. Let me put you full up. Yeah, bro. What you telling me, guy?
So listen,
Uh,
I don't know who that handle is. That's a lengthy name, so I'm not gonna try to break it down. But that was just, I couldn't help myself. That was completely cap. You know, there ain't no way. And this is from somebody who was married, who had stepkids, and who is now divorced. So ain't nobody willingly going into a situation after the relationship has ended and just knowingly wanting to do that. But I do understand her desire to want the kids to be treated fairly, right? So I like what Tuels had said about the obligation versus consideration. And I think that it's also communication, right? So I think that's where, I think what was triggering was her entitlement and then the vitriol that she approached him with, which could have been a request. You know what I mean? So I think a request is very, very different than a demand and then an assumption that he should know everything that she's going through. Right. So she just like did this information dump. Oh, I'm the food stamp stuff. And oh, I have other kids and da 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 da. If you wanted that man to do something, then it should be a conversation and a request and not a demand. And, all of that other stuff that came along with it. Now, I will say that being a stepdad, 100%, I loved and still do love my stepkids just like they were my own. And there would be nothing I would do for them, but that's because, and I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, but that's me. You can't assume that everybody operates and moves and thinks that way. I still have a relationship with them. They will still text me and they are young adults, and my stepdaughter's in college and, finishing her junior year. We talked about, internships and talking to her about different opportunities and how to progress professionally. And I think that that's stuff that you should do if you have the capacity to do it. Now, this gentleman, I don't get the impression that he had the capacity to be in that position, to give that level of guidance and support. And I don't definitely think the baby mama was either one. So I think it's unrealistic expectations on both of their sides to be able to like maturely navigate this complex situation.
I love that, bro. I love that, and you're right. I think it changed. The dynamics change when you have when if you become a stepdad in a sense of marriage, because I think that really does change the dynamic. Because I think if you're someone serious about marriage, then you're serious about uniting, the family as one, and therefore, like you said, those kids become your kids. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, like I said, in that case, maybe if you were bringing McDonald's, you'd have brought it for all the kids because now they are all your kids.
Yeah.
It's not just one of them is my kid. But if I was just with you, it's different from, like you were saying, if you get married and you're together and you've bonded and you've brought this whole family unit together. than when you're just someone who's just come into a family and just I had sex with a daughter and I was just a little bit of a relationship but nothing else. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think like sometimes people, it's like we're in a space in society where we don't necessarily value marriage the same as it used to be, but that's when you really get what it does, right? So it's really truly, if you go into a marriage saying those vows and you mean it, then you know that once you take on it, that if the woman or the other person you're with has kids, it's automatic. It's not even, it doesn't even have to be said. Now, in a relationship, that's not always the case. And people don't feel that bond, that connection automatically. So people can be very dismissive about what else comes with you when you have a relationship, and that could include your kids. So it's tough, but I don't think that you can just assume that everybody's going to operate with that mindset. And I think that's how this whole thing was fueled. Like what you were saying, the energy she was coming with was from other places because she had unmet needs and probably plenty of places in her relationship and in life. So she expected him to just come in and do all those things and fix all those things. And she has work to do on herself. Right. So you can expect without having a conversation that he's just going to automatically do that. That's like it's just that's in your head. Like she had the argument in her head. She had everything all picked out. It was all set up. I know what he's going to do. I know how this, this guy is. He ain't nothing. I know what he's going to do. So she already it was already made up. She was ready for the fight. Her dukes were up. And she was just proving her point, which is if you really wanted resolution, if you really wanted better for your kids, then you will go about the situation differently.
100%. And I just think to myself, like, it's like you said, it's dripping in entitlement that's coming from expectation that's unfair. It's an unfair expectation to put on this gentleman because he's not, first of all, he's not the stepdad. Okay, he played a role in terms of being your partner for a while, but was not the stepdad. Now, yes, he might have taken the kids out to McDonald's, treated them nicely. I mean, if he didn't do these things, I'd be concerned. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if he was getting with you and he did this, I'd be concerned. I really think in this particular aspect as well, and like I said, I've been in a situation, maybe not dated a woman that's had kids, but been friends with a girl that's had kids, right? And when I come over, I buy everybody something. I'll I'll buy everybody something, right? But I don't have the investment that this gentleman does. I don't have it. Let's say even if I had one of my kids with one of these girls, I'd probably end up buying the kids all something, right?
Yeah.
That's just how I operate. All right, that's how I move in this aspect. But again, the situation being is that first and foremost, the energy she came with, first of all, leaves no other conversation on the table, none. So now, when you come with that energy, I can't even hear what you're actually even saying to me. Even if there is an ounce of truth in what you're saying, I don't want to know because you've come at to me 120 miles per hour, and it's not even about me. You're not really angry at me, right? You're angry at you, and you're angry at your situation. So, someone said, "Is he broke?" Just say he's broke. I wouldn't even say he's broke. I'll say he hasn't got enough money to feed all 4 kids. All 5 kids, and I don't expect him to. Like, listen, it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And again, sometimes we think about if we think it as one aspect. Okay, if it's just McDonald's, then the one day, then we might say, well, it's been a bit petty. But if I think of it also, if he thinks of it also as, well, if I do this today, I got to do this tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, he may be thinking long term too, right? So in that sense, I have to look at it and go, I can take what she's saying, but I also understand why the brother's like, hey, I've got 1 kid with you. I'm dealing with 1 kid. I'm paying my dues. I'm doing what I need to do. Because even her accusation of him being a crap father, that there was actually no accusation at all. What was he crap at? His crapness was the fact he brought food only for his own child. What's he crap at then? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You didn't say anything else. You know what I mean?
And I think like the situation is where you have 2 people that have their own issues, and if we're looking at this as a broader thing, I mean, I feel like part of it was kind of like skit worthy, especially if you're posting this on social media, you're filming it, you do the whole setup. It's like either you want attention or there's some fakeness to this. But if, these situations do play out in real life, and I feel like sometimes we get into these heated arguments, right? You got to take a step back and be like, okay, so this is what I'm thinking and going into it, but what is he thinking and going into it?
Yeah.
She's got a lot going on. She's got multiple kids, multiple baby fathers, right? What's his scenario at home? We don't know that, right? I'm sure it's not a perfect picture if the two of them met up and had a baby together. So expecting him to do something when you got your own issues, he got his own issues, it's like it's going to be nothing but chaos. And I mean, I feel bad because the kids are thrown in the middle of this, but what's the mentality of somebody who wants to broadcast this level of toxicity, if it's true, right? The mentality is a little problematic, right? He's not perfect for sure, because listen, if it does it, how any like feeling human being, knowing where you're going and you're going to drop off food for your child, and especially if it's McDonald's, it's not a tuna fish sandwich, right, that you made, it's McDonald's. So if you're going into a house where there's other kids and you can only do for your own child, there's a better way to handle that, right? But unfortunately, I think like there's a lot going on here that we can't see. Like, why is McDonald's a regular part of their diet? That alone tells you that. There's something going on. Like, kids shouldn't be eating McDonald's every day or with regularity. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, McDonald's was a treat. Maybe on the weekends.
Yeah.
Maybe every now and then.
Every now and again, yeah.
That's not doing anything healthy for us. I mean, now I'm grown. Maybe I choose to eat fast food more than I should. But at least, as a kid, you're getting the proper nourishment. Like, there should be cooked meals. And I saw that in the comments. And I'm like, that's spot on. She should be like, why can't you just drop off $25 worth of groceries? Because McDonald's could be $10, $15, drop off. If you're going to do that a couple of times a week, just drop off $50 in groceries. That to me would be a better request.
And again, you see, that's because when you really break down this particular argument and other people's argument like this, it is never about really money or this. It's all about power and control in this environment. Because, like, let's say now he says, all right, cool, look, you said you haven't got no food stamps for the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna do this grocery shopping for you. What do you need as groceries? And he goes, all right, because I'm paying for it, some of the items, that's not necessary. This is what we need for food wise. This is what we're gonna do. It'll become a problem too. Because again, this argument, she never made that argument. She never made that argument. Her whole mindset was so encased in destroying him. It never went to any. There was no suitable solution that was brought up. This is why I'm saying that when people get locked into their emotions and the argument loses its focus away from what it actually is, which is why I'm not agreeing with some of the points that people are making, because it's not about, oh, can't he buy it for 5 kids? Because if that's the case, she could have said, listen, like you were saying, she's on food stamps. All right, why isn't the argument, but that I'm on food stamps, like, could you have bought some food instead so that all the kids could have eaten? That wasn't an argument. Her argument was, you ain't buy 5 McDonald's for all the kids. Yeah, and if he ain't eating, none of them are eating. Someone said it in the chat. She could have taken the McDonald's in, divided by 5.
Yeah. Everybody gets a nugget. That's it.
Right.
And a couple of fries.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Now, it wouldn't have been cute, but it would have been something. But because her mind was not on really the solution, it was on, I want to destroy you. I want you to feel what I'm feeling. I'm angry. You're going to feel angry too. It lost all impetus of solution base and became about, I'll destroy you.
She wanted war, and I think that's that just from start to finish. That's and there was nothing he could say that was going to be anything different, because that's the picture she wanted to paint. She already had her mind made up, and that was it. She's going to fight about it, and I think that's something to think about for all of us. It's like when we approach an argument, right? Are we looking for the solution, or are we looking to fight? That's something I had to learn. And when I was married, it's like sometimes you just get so caught up in being right, but it's less about being right and about fighting than it is about finding the solution. Because you can fight about everything, and I could be totally right, but the way I'm talking to you is wrong, or the way I went about it was wrong. So that just cancels it all out. So it's about how do we resolve, how do we have resolution, how do we effectively communicate to say, hey, listen, I'm struggling this week. Can you help me out? I know you're going to bring Bobby over some McDonald's, but instead of that, I really appreciate, just $20. Could you send me $20, or could you just get some groceries? It's the humility for me. It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying she needs to beg him or get down on her knees, but it's like you're gonna get a longer way than approaching a situation with some humility. Hey, listen, my food stamps don't come to X, Y, and Z. Can you help me? Versus I'm gonna make you look like a fool and bah, 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 and you ain't nothing, and you just bring this, and you want to broadcast him to the whole world, and he's somebody that technically you need help from, because you're really the nitty gritty of it is she needs help from him. She's looking for help from him.
100%, bro. And you're right again. I think again, that's why I said it's a big topic. Not even skit or no skit. This thing happens to real relationships, real people, and we have these kind of things happening all the time. And I think the reason why I wanted to give different perspectives was to say I do understand that she might be on 10 already. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the stress, the pressure, life, having 4 kids, different baby daddies. One does, most of them don't want to contribute, but one does. Like, hey, cool, I get it. There's a lot of pressure in your life, but now what you're doing is you're now trying to put all that pressure onto one individual person. And you know what? This happens actually in normal relationships where people have such a heightened expectation of one person to become Superman, and then they get broken underneath the pressure of the expectation. It's like you are expecting this guy to do so much, and I know someone might say it's only McDonald's, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm not looking at McDonald's. I'm looking at the wider scope of things, and that's why I said if there's a pattern you're expecting me to do, you're going to expect me to do this over and over and over again, and then it becomes costly. You know what I mean? Oh, why are you taking your child on holiday? Why are you taking more on holiday? They're your son's siblings. Now, would you expect your parent to take one sibling and not the other siblings on a holiday? That's what I said about the logic doesn't make sense. Think about it. Would you expect your parent to take one sibling and be like, oh, don't worry about other siblings. We'll leave them. We're going to go on holiday, just one sibling. It would be mad to conceive that. Now, it does happen sometimes because obviously certain things do happen. But in most cases, no one's going to do that. So if we use that same logic, if he now takes his son out to a holiday, he's got to take all his kids out too, because he's going to come back and tell all the other kids, I want an amazing holiday, and them kids are going to feel bad. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, that, unfortunately, is the price we pay when you have a blended family. Unfortunately, that's part of the price you pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree 100%, because you know what? Even if he would have brought rather groceries for the kids, then she would have been like, well, what about me? You're going to bring for the kids. What about me? So I think it's just like that never ending cycle. And look, I don't know. We see gas prices. Y'all been to McDonald's? McDonald's meals can be $10 a piece. So now you went from $10 for your one child to now it's up to $50. So yeah, depending on your financial circumstances, it could be expensive. So I think it is very, very difficult, especially knowing that there's other kids, and if you're not in that financial situation to be able to do for all of them, that's tough. Because just like to your point, like imagine if he wants to celebrate his child's birthday and throw a birthday party for his son or his daughter. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl that they had, but imagine what that looks like if the other kids don't have the same when their birthday comes around. So that's the unfortunate part about broken households, when you got that kind of scenario going on. It makes it very challenging to manage all of that, because there are going to be hurt feelings. Those kids are going to, no matter what. This time it was McDonald's, next time it's going to be something else.
That's what I said. Yep.
But whose fault is it? It's like, I don't know if she can necessarily blame him and be upset at him because of the other kids that are in her household.
No, she can't, and I think, and again, like I said, it's a shame that it's happened like this, I think that even taking the food and throwing it on the floor, girl, I just need you to deep. That's when you're lost.
Yeah.
You're saying that you haven't got no food stamps wise, and you get the McDonald's and then you dash it down. Like, babe, you're acting as if this is a check from the devil. This is your baby daddy giving food to you, and you taking the food and dash on the floor. That is where your mind is at now. It's no longer sensible at this moment. You know what I mean? Like, it's no longer sensible at this moment. So, like, at that point, like I said, it's like you said, it's one thing now, but tomorrow it could be another thing and another thing. And that's why I said, how far does consideration go versus obligation? Because someone could take advantage of that consideration. Before you know it, you're somewhere deeper than you needed to be. But yeah, I think someone said about potentially what if she was reacting to his pettiness beforehand and just buying his own kid food. Well, I mean, we're still in the same position. It's not, you consider it petty, but I'm saying to you, if he's buying food for his own kid, that's his kid.
Yeah.
That's the child. So
right.
Yeah.
I think somebody mentioned in the comments about food stamps. No, she said it. I guess they feel you might not have seen it, but she said she was on food stamps. That's what she mentioned to him in a part of their argument, when she was saying, like, I think they don't come till the 11th or something like that. She made that comment. So we weren't just making our own narrative.
No, she definitely said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, food stamps on 11th. Yeah. Yeah.
It sucks, because really, I mean, if we really boil it down, it's the kids that are suffering, right?
That's true.
We could kind of debate back and forth about what was right, what was the best way. Could he have done better? Should she have done better? But who's doing for those children? Because I like what you said earlier about the fact that when all's said and done and the dust settles, they're still stressed. He's stressed, she's stressed. And that's why we just see so much angst in the community, because people are like walking ticking time bombs, because they're just going from one fight to the next, to the next, to the next. And that's the unfortunate part, because whatever anger she has, how is she going to turn around and be able to pour into her kids? And the kids are seeing this, whether it's via social media or just they're living it out in their daily lives. And her throwing out that McDonald's, what does that teach them? Her disrespecting and yelling and carrying on with the father, what does that teach them? Him talking to her the way he talks to her, what does that teach them? So we're going to have kids that just in some way, form, or fashion are going to duplicate the cycle. That's the sad part for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, and like I said, there are other conversations that are around this topic. Maybe one day we can have it as well, where there are genuine instances where we're also, I've talked to some of my boys about it. I'm like, Negro, you effing up. Like, yo, bro, like, look at the situation, bro, and, consider a different point of view. Yeah, you effing up. But I think in this scenario, unless we have other context, like, let's say, I don't know what else happened behind the scenes. From what we can see, like, she overreacted majorly to this situation. And like you said, nobody wins in this scenario. The kids don't win. He don't win. She don't win. He's pissed. She's pissed. Kids are going to be pissed after, because they're going to see this situation play out through the mother. And it's like, then the kids become this weapon. And that's not my point I want to make, actually. Now, this child becomes a weapon, because really and truly, whatever you feel, it's not about this child. This McDonald's is just a medium for your anger. Like, you've now made this child a weapon. And that's what we're talking about. And again, it's not just to say an onus on the woman, but she's the one the majority of the time having the kids. And unfortunately, her energy is going to be read by these children. So, it's going to be interesting. I'll say interesting, but it makes it for a very interesting scenario, because no one really wins. No one wins. And this is something I try to drive into the minds of both. Well, at least for my boys, I would say, because I don't talk to the women as much. But when I'm talking to my boys, I'm like, bro, you do not win here. You don't see your child for a year, you don't win. You know what I mean? If you have a fight with your baby mother and she says no kids see it, you don't win. And neither does that kid, and neither does she, and neither does the baby mother, because now she's lost her support. You're not there. kid's not getting her father as well figure in there. Nobody wins. And that's what we need to get people to understand. You don't win by shutting out their partner purposefully to try and gain power or control or a foothold in the dynamic and make yourself feel better. Nobody wins.
Yeah, and I think that, that's why people really need to be considerate of who they flesh their issues out with, right? Because if she was on the phone with a friend that's just in her same scenario and they're just fueling each other, and I can see it all play out. She calls her friend and she's like, can you believe guess so-and-so's about to come over, he's about to do da. So they're just amping each other up, and that's when if you have a friend who's never told you something about yourself that is better, then that's probably not a good friend. If that friend has never given you some constructive feedback or advice like, hey, listen, I don't agree with you here, then those are not the kind of friends you need around you that are always going to, I'm not saying somebody needs to be judging you and telling you you're wrong 24/7, but a good friend is somebody that can call you out. And if your friend has never called you out, that ain't a real friend. They just around for the good times or around to build you up and put you in more drama than you probably need to be in. Because somebody could have diffused that. And been like, hey, listen, I hear you. I know you upset. I know you hot. I know he did X, Y, and Z, but you ain't going to win by doing this. The kids are going to see it, whether they're there or whether they're going to hear about it. Don't do it.
I agree.
I
agree. 100%, bro. I think you just touched on a really good point as well. Like, the calm down, and any of the two could have done it. You know what I mean? I know. Someone might see it and be like, well, she was the one that was being irate. Yeah, but how I respond also can calm somebody down.
Yeah.
And these are the things that we have to try and learn, because what you want to do, like I said, unfortunately, this scenario it's not beneficial in this way, the way it is, but we're trying to make the best of it. And you're absolutely right. This should have been even himself, he could have been like, listen, I'm trying to hear you, but amongst all the noise and the madness, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really getting your point and your side of the point. Let me hear what you're actually saying, and try and bring her down. And if she was still going irate, say, listen, hey, look, I'm trying to hear you, but you're actually shouting at this moment. Let's just bring it down a little bit so I can actually understand what you're saying, and repeat back to her, this is what you mean. Like, these are some of the techniques that we have to use when you're in these type of situations, because you don't win. You don't win by her being irate and you being irate. Do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it may be you have to teach the person by walking away. Sometimes the lesson is literally walking away, and eventually they get it, right? Eventually they get it because they realize they can't get you that way. You know what I mean? And if that continues predominantly, we'll go into the courts. Let's go to the courts, because there's nothing else we can do. If we can't talk in public and talk about this sensibly, I've tried everything in my power to simmer it down, bring it down. I'm doing my absolute most best. Then I do have to go to the courts, because clearly you don't listen to me, and I'm struggling to hear you. All right, let's go to the courts. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Question: I didn't see part 2, and I was like, I was in and out on that. What was her like? What was her synopsis of part 2?
I'll let you hear it. This is her synopsis of that.
It's petty. Like, it's not fair. Like, you're not finna give.
Sorry.
So the whole world is basically bashing me right now, because I'm the baby mama who was upset at her baby daddy because he only decided to give his child McDonald's and not the rest of my other 3 kids. I have 4 kids. You knew the situation when you dated me. Our child is the youngest child. So keep that in mind before y'all make me the villain. That means all my other kids knew him. He was buying the McDonald's when we were together. My kids have to go through a transition of our breakup as well. Like, yeah, me and you broke up, but my kids got to feel it too. So now my kids have to see only one of their siblings get McDonald's and not the rest of them. And they know it's coming from you because, of course, like, me and you used to be together. They used to see you. You used to do it for them. But now you don't want to do that for them anymore. Like, to me, that's petty. That's petty. Like, it's not fair. Like, you're not finna give one child McDonald's and not all the other kids McDonald's. Like, I'm not going. And then on top of that, you mean to tell me you can dib and dab and want to do it sometimes, but yet you can't feed all my other kids McDonald's though? That's what you mean to tell me? Like, I'm not going for that. I'm going to stand on what I said, and I don't care what everybody else have to say about it. Y'all could judge me. Oh, well, I could be the villain, but I said what I said. Like, if you can't bring everybody McDonald's, then can't nobody have McDonald's then. Period.
I mean, if it's a skit, her acting's amazing.
So
Just
the
gonna
whole
say that
world-
straight. Her acting is A1.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, that definitely seemed real and authentic to me. And if it's not, she needs to go stand in front of Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, because he has worked for her. He could be on any one of her shows.
Listen, it's wild, bro. It's wild. You know, it's wild. I don't know, bro. It's just, for me, yeah. It's like I said, if people, I think, like I said, people just need to learn how to operate with one another and the best way possible. And sometimes it's not possible. We understand that happen, but it's we also got to learn how to manage, and that's why I loved your point about de-escalating the situation, because I think that's one of the biggest things in what I've seen in terms of other people that I've known deal with a baby mother or baby father. It's the de-escalation, because once someone thinks they're right, all the pain and the anger from previous arguments, frustrations that he or she didn't do the last task that he wanted, it just comes up like a roaring lion and then just begins to devour people left, right, and center. So you're absolutely right about that de-escalation point.
Yeah, and it pains me, because I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine about expectations, and I think like expectations, as much as we should have them, they can also be damaging, because we talk a lot about toxicity and childhood trauma, and those things are all really good that we have the language to describe some of this stuff, but then it's what we do with it. And I think it's that expectation, right? Because for her to expect him to have to manage all of that, that's a lot of weight to put on one person, and I think when we take that weight into our relationships and we expect people, because they know our trauma, to handle us in a particular way, that just, you're always going to be disappointed, because people are people. So just as much as you, and I think we forget this sometimes, and I might be going on a slight tangent, but when we have our own trauma, whatever I bring to the table, and then I expect you as my woman, my partner, to handle it, but I'm forgetting and negating the trauma that you have or the issues that you bring to the table, and I'm expecting you to just come, know all my pains, and handle me correctly. But I'm forgetting that you got your own stuff too. So it doesn't work that way in a relationship. You can't just expect and then bring this energy because you expect it, because the person, quote unquote, knows. Right? Just like she's saying, you knew that I have 3 other kids. You knew what you did before. And now that we're not together, and you know what my kids are going through in our breakup, and then now you expect him to handle it another way, and you're angry when he does. But what about him? You don't know how he feels. Maybe his heart is broken. Maybe he's dealing with the transition. And again, not making him right and you wrong, but when you go into a situation like that with that expectation, it's always going to lead you down a path.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I love that point as well. You're absolutely right. Considering being in a place of just considering what potentially could be going on the other side. You're absolutely right. I think this is a key point. Just being able to take in different perspectives and understand. I think that's such a key point in terms of, again, handling conflict resolution. Because if, again, I've got to work with you, I haven't got a choice. I've got to work with you. I've got to find a way to be able to maneuver along this path with you. And sometimes that means taking an L. Sometimes that means being this way. and I've spoken to some friends as well about this as well. Sometimes as men as well, I tell them, I can only talk for the men because I haven't really spoken to women. I can only talk about the men's situation. So I tell them like, look, man, she's reacting to you. You don't even realize she's reacting to you. She's waiting to see it. She's prodding and prodding and prodding, and she every time you react, she's like, yeah, I've got him. You know what I mean? Like, because she's feeling some type of way, and you've got almost, you're the leader here, especially as a man. I said, you're a leader here. Lead that how you want it to be done. If you don't want it to be that way, change it, bro. You know what I mean? If that means walking away, if that means telling her, listen, look, right now you're getting a bit irate or whatever, lead those conversations and then teach her through your behavior that that's not what you want to see happen. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say it's every single time it's gonna work every single time, because of course people are crazy, and so at the end of the day, we gotta take ownership of what we can do, and sometimes I say for the men as well, I really feel like sometimes, just being able to own the piece of what you contribute towards the situation sometimes it can make a huge difference. And like you're saying, it's on both parties to ask, okay, look, is something going on with you? Like, it's something, because like the way you're acting today seems like you're not okay. Like, is there something I can do? And if she says, oh, I need more money, and you're like, I'll be honest with you, I actually don't have it. You know what I mean? But if your response is, but my situation, you're always moving mad, then I'm telling you now, she gonna move the exact same way, because you showing her how you want her to behave. And then, you know what I mean? So it's that key balance, and just really be able to lead those discussions. We talk about this on the channel all the time as well. We've seen it ourselves with women. We know how quickly it goes from 0 to 1,000. One word. One word.
I learned, bro. I mean, I have learned so much, and sometimes less is best, bro. Less is best. And I think that's like, if we're really digging in, and like what you were saying, like, as soon as he saw that camera, he knew what was up, whether it was fake or not. As soon as you see that, you know what it is, right? So don't engage. And I try to teach and lead the people that work under me this at work all the time, because we deal in customer service, right? So customers are going to come with energy all the time. And you worked in banking and financial services too. So when people come with that energy, if you meet them with that energy, it's going to be energy multiplied. So I think that was definitely on him to just definitely not meet her where this wasn't a time to meet her where she was or go back and forth with her. It was kind of like, maybe even just like, all right, that's what's up. I hear you. But that's not what I'm able to do. Or, maybe we could talk about this another day, because it seems like you heated. Right. But going back and forth with her and trying to prove point for point, at that point, it's bullets.
Yeah. You just leave yourself open to madness, because like you were saying, bro, like, fam, we worked in banking, fam, there is a way to handle and there's even a really beautiful way to handle it, that you even feel excited as you handle it, because you're in control. And that's what people need to really understand as well. Like, there's a way to maneuver this situation, because what people are afraid of is, if I don't get my point out, I'm gonna feel like she can talk to it. And you're like, you don't realize, listen, there is more power in you being able to maneuver the conversation in the way that you want, rather than you screaming and shouting. Screaming and shouting don't make you win.
No.
You know what I mean? Even if the person backs down, you ain't really won, because one day they're gonna pipe up. They're gonna be mad. So you really want to be able to maneuver the conversation in a way that helps to get the win here, not just for yourself, but it makes the other person feel like they've won too. And we know these things because when you work in banking, they teach you these things about how to actively listen, how to come up with a good resolution when you're dealing with maybe a customer that's irate or angry. There are ways to de-escalate a situation. And when you start to learn those things, you start to realize that if you take that into relationships too, you can start to really have some really productive conversations, because it stops all the emotion and energy in that moment. Like when a customer's coming to you and you just know, by the way they walk in, if they get to your desk, they're gonna unleash all hell. And it's not you. It's not you they're angry at. They are angry at your bank, but you are the bank. So it's like everything is coming your way, even though you had nothing to say. I was on the phone for an hour. I was trying to get through to a customer service team and I couldn't get through. And now I'm here at the bank. I've had to wait for 10 minutes. I'm angry. And you're at this point now going, bro, I wasn't on the hour for you on the phone. So what you want me to do about it? You want to say that. You want to say that, but that's not going to solve the issue. But you can't. You want to say this so you can bug off and do one, but you can't.
You'd be like, well, that's a you problem. What are we doing today? Like,
can I bank your check? Can I put money in? Like, let's do something because right now you're irate for nothing.
Did I tell you to go and spend more money than you had in your account?
You know what I mean? You're in overdraft. What do you want to do about it? You got charged from overdraft? Yeah, because you was in the overdraft. What do you want to do about it? You know what I mean?
You had $100, you charged $120. What do you want?
What do you want? What do you want me to do about it? You know what I'm saying? I'm a clerk, I'm a teller. What do you want me to do about it? Like, yeah. Like, that's not even my department. I'm not even the department. So
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's wasting your time. But they teach you these skills in terms of how to de-escalate these situations. So it's a customer service is different from a man disrespecting
it's not.
Your children. Oh, you'd be surprised if you don't realize how good customer service is. It's when it says customer's always right. It's understood in the relationship. If everybody took that approach, we'd all be winning. Because it's the same approach as if I serve you and you serve me. No one's going to be left out with the serving.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Because just like we were saying about that customer coming into a bank and not being angry necessarily at you, but then directing all the anger at you, it's the same way this woman was angry, not necessarily at him, but everything else that's happened around her. So he gonna get the whole bullet. How do I handle that situation when it comes to me? How do I de-escalate that situation? How do I now bring this thing into a place where I can make it productive? I can turn it around. And I'm sure you have your own stories as well, bro. When you've done it right, the way the customer appreciates you after, they will tell you, you know, I was really angry before I came and spoke to you. You know, I really, really appreciate Sean, really, really appreciate Kojo for like, you know, and then they apologize. I'm sorry, I was a bit angry. You know, I was a bit stressed from da-da-da. And then you just like, no, don't worry about it. I get it. You're angry at the situation. You know, when you do it right, it works.
100%. I remember you just took me back to, I remember when I used to be a branch manager. Jeez. And my team they used to think it was a joke because they would set me up. They would just send customers my way, but then I would like show them and resolve it in front of them. And they would be like, wow, you know, and I'm like, listen, it's like, look, it's just about listening to the person. The first few minutes when somebody's upset, you just got to let them talk. If you try to yell back, or if you're not listening, or that would be the thing, like in this, and I know that person was like, it's not the same customer service and your children. Yes, it is. It's the same thing because it's two adults working through conflict resolution. Because that's all it is. Sir. It's conflict resolution. So it's when you come to me, you got an issue and you're heated. It's me just letting you get it off your chest. Because if I try to match your energy, it's going to be two people raging. It's going nowhere. Even in a relationship, if I'm upset about something and I come to you with it, you got to hear me first and then ask questions and calm down. Because if I start being like, well, why are you yelling at me? It's not my problem. It's not my fault you had a bad day. Now we're yelling. And then the argument turns into something that the argument wasn't even about. And that happens so often in relationships. Because we don't give people the space to get it off their chest. And that's something, again, lessons learned. I'm talking from somebody that learned it. Because sometimes I'd be met with a situation, you know, and it's like, hey, listen, do you just want to vent? You know, like, so I know where we're going with this. Just, do you want to vent? When the 5 minutes in. Also calms the person down, too. Because it's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I am on 10 a little bit. You know, it's like, all right, yeah, I just want you to hear me out. Now we can go move forward to what's the real issue. But, you know, folks don't necessarily learn that. And I think that's where he definitely was in the wrong, because he was just coming, you know, all right, you trying to make me look stupid? No, you're not going to make me look stupid. And I'm going to run down everything that I think I did right and you did wrong.
Bro, do you know what? Do you know what we're gonna do? We have to do a whole video on conflict resolution for these people because, bro, like it is honestly like the same way for you, and I think that's why we're on the channel together. I think that's why we have the same similar energy when it comes to conflict resolution. It's like Because similar to you, when I was working in banking, they would send the angry customers my way, and it's because I'm not going to react to you. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. You want an argument at this point. You want an opportunity to say the bank is that this is that because I've given you a bad service now. Because you've gone from one end to another end. You come here. You want an argument at this point, right? And so, like you're saying, bro, that first part is where everything either goes wrong or right. I just need to give you space and time to vent what you're feeling and be like, okay, cool. I think if I heard you correctly, listen, I acknowledge, I understand why you're angry. And then you say, listen, if I'm hearing you correctly, is this what has caused the issue? And just by doing that alone, and oftentimes, well, like you're a manager, you know as well, sometimes what you do is you remove the person from the floor and you take them into a room just to change the scenario and change the scenery. You sit them down, and that can then kind of calm a bit the situation a little bit as well. And it just kind of shows to the other person that you're invested in listening, because oftentimes the frustration is that you're not listening. Rather than even just the issue, it's you're not listening to me. So you're right. In this scenario with this young lady and young man, as soon as she went on 10, he was like, well, you dumb too then. Listen to what you're saying. You're dumb as well. Like, and if you said that in banking, I can guarantee this now, you're going to be out the door. Like, if you said to a customer, you dumb. Like, who else told you to take an overdraft out? You're dumb. In your head, you are thinking these things. In your head, you're like, but who told you to spend all the money? Nobody told you to spend the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have customers that come in there, that will, their card has been used, and you can see it's like, your daughter's used this card, bruv. Like, I don't know, like, no one else spent your money. It's your daughter. Go and ask your daughter. But you can't say all these things. And actually, it's a really great way of growing an individual in not saying everything that's on your mind, because you can't do that in a relationship. That's the whole point. In a relationship, you can't say everything that's on your mind. Even if I think it and feel it at that moment, is it going to benefit the conversation? I want you to know that I'm understanding you. You want to be heard and understood. If I said everything that's on my mind, this is going to be carnage. So the two are so interlinked in terms of the way that we deal with irate situations and situations that get that get so mad, that if we start to realize this, you'll start to realize, yeah, man, that this can actually be solved. We can actually hear each other, and we can actually understand each other as well better. You know what I mean? It's crazy out here.
Yeah, it's nuts, and it's so funny. Like, these little things, you look at it, and first we get triggered because seeing her perform that way, seeing him carry on, and them go back and forth, and it's all about McDonald's. But really, you boil it down, this is human interaction. This is how we navigate life. This is how to really look at ways to effectively resolve. And then, listen, she's getting flack after the fact because people choose sides. And I think it's the unfortunate part. And now social media, anytime a post comes out, something comes on, any site, it's like there's automatically a side. So I got to be on this side. And if I'm not on that side, then I'm on the other side. And now we're going to fight to defend our sides. And I think what's more important is what this is about, right? Let's look at this, look at ourselves, see how to better resolve issues, see how to better handle it, because she's not perfect and neither is he. And then those kids, that's I keep going back to those kids, because now they're going to take that lesson in their life. And guess what? When those kids have a conflict in school, how do you think they're going to handle it? They're going from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds.
Yep.
So sad,
bro. And that's what you just said there is perfect, because that's the reason why we're talking about it, because I agree with the gentleman. I think the gentleman is more on the right here. I understand where he's coming from. I don't think she has any right to have this level of entitlement expectation. But in terms of handling the situation, you're absolutely right that, again, this is a no-win contest. Like, because if I don't know how to handle conflict like this, all that's going to happen, like you said, bro, is that it just goes on to the kids. What you don't learn, you're going to end up projecting onto your kids, and then they go out and behave in the exact same way. Then you're asking, how do my kids behave like this? Well, you taught them this. You think they weren't watching? You think they weren't listening from the window top? You were screaming. You think they didn't hear you from the 6th floor? They heard you. You're screaming the street down. At one point, I actually looked to the camera to say, I wonder if there's no one behind them that's surprised, but fam, anybody in that building is going to hear you. We know this because you can hear your neighbors sometimes going at it. So if I can hear my neighbors going at it, I know on the 6th floor these kids are going to be hearing you screaming and shouting, and they know your voice. So you know what I mean? Like, that's why that's why it's someone said the fourth flow. But yeah, that's why, you know, it's about making sure that again we are both invested, and why it's important from both sides to be able to be heard and to create a space where it's safe to be heard. You know what I mean? Of course, some people are moving very, very mad, and we understand that. But again, just how do you deal with that? It may not be you have a proper conversation now. Maybe it has to be another time. But I'm going to teach you how we should be going forward. If I don't want to be doing madness and toxicity, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I want to show you. I want to show you from my behavior. Hey, I don't want to do that. You know, and I may have to take some hits for that. You know.
And I think lastly, the thing that keeps resonating, and I know we have big jokes around pettiness, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm fully healed from my pettiness, but
None of us are, bro.
I
You're
think
good.
that if you are so confident in the petty, you still got stuff that's in you, because it takes
Yep.
energy. It takes energy out of you. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you say your petty makes you don't care anymore. No, you care enough to go out of your way to do meanness or to try to get that
It's true.
person back. So I don't care how you position it. If you're going out of your way to do something which you don't want to do in the name of petty, yours is still sitting inside with you. And she said the same thing. I know he's petty. So there's some history there about how he's interacted and related with the kids, right? So for me, like that's when I get reminded when I want to get to that petty place. I'm like, you know what? Nah, it's not worth it. You know, and I was talking to somebody on my team that's a manager recently, and they had a dispute with one of their employees that wanted a day off. And then it wound up getting escalated to me. And I just went back to the person and I'm like, listen, I hear you. The person is giving you grief, but don't choose war with somebody that you work with. As much as you can do it because they're your boss. I mean, you're their boss. You don't need to exert that energy. And it's the same thing in a relationship, right? I'm a man and I know, like, you know, yes, I'm more powerful than a woman physically, but just because I can, or just because maybe I'm in a financial position that's more in some instances than the woman that I'm with, doesn't mean I need to exert that. And I think it's the same thing. I think it's that restraint that you need to pull back from the petty and just sometimes let it go, because it just causes a cycle of just never endingness where you're doing things that really in your heart you know you don't want to do. You know, you don't want to do, and it's still sitting with you. Because if he did in fact do that intentionally and knowing he was hurting those other kids and he could have provided a meal for them, then that's something about you. You know, and then and for her to do the same, to treat him any particular way, or knowing that there was an issue, but to want to broadcast that to the world, to expose him, that's something about her. So that part, you got to let that go, because it's going nowhere but damage.
Yep. 100%,
Candace said it's the Scorpio in me. Yeah, I got to die to the Scorpio in me. Because, yeah, we do. So, I mean, I'm not big in all that astrology, horoscope stuff. But, yeah, there's some venom there. And I get it. And I have to pull back. I mean, like, I don't want to say it. Don't say it. Don't do it.
Bro, you ain't lying, bro. You're actually right, bro. And you're right. Pettiness does take energy, bro. It takes calculation. Because you want to hit him in the right way. So pettiness is long. Either party trying to be petty is just long. It's better to spend that energy. It's almost like eating healthy food and really junk food. You know, pettiness is the junk food that will make you feel nice immediately. You know, you'll feel sweet, feel good, but in the long run, it catches up with you. And you know, healthy food doesn't always taste good at first, or at least it doesn't always hit the spot like it does with a sugary treat. But you know, in the long run, it's gonna be good for you. You know what I mean? And I think that's the same thing with choosing not to be petty, but choosing something that may at the immediate moment feel like an L, but will be a W later on, because you've built up a foundation of, you know, doing the right thing so that the other person also has space to also come to that knowledge, you know? And it's hard to do that. Like I said, it's hard to do that because sometimes people be trying to break out the darkness in you.
And, you know, especially when somebody knows you trying to, because they know what you did. They know what you did do, and they see you trying to do something different. They want to take you back to that place. Leave me alone. I'm trying to do better.
Oh, I'm trying to be good, but she's bringing me back.
I'm trying, but you want to take me back, please.
Oh. Well, man, yeah. That's the truth right there, bro. That's the truth. Don't let petty get you guys, okay? Don't let petty get you guys. Damn, we have to do our other video anyway. The other video, the submission one. So, I'll do that probably a bit later in it, so that you can jump on in it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one with what's her name, Jazzy?
Yeah. Because I saw it on TikTok earlier on actually before, and then yeah, that looks like a good one too. So
for sure,
that could be a good one. Yeah, we'll do that a little bit later. Hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna both jump up at the same time. Audience members, thank you so much, man. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation between myself and Sean. Actually, I'll edit and bring our part separately, cut it and add it so it's a separate piece, because I think that's a really good piece, especially the conflict resolution. I think people can really benefit from that as well. So listen, audience members, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you again very, very soon. And yeah, it's been beautiful. Someone said, not today, Satan. That's exactly what you got to be saying, guys. Destroy the petty. Don't give in to the petty, okay? Don't give into the petty. Someone said you should have gone Five Guys. His money can't. If the one Five Guys is 2 McDonald's meals, he can't do it, bruv. He can't do it. Imagine doing five Guys. I even feel it when I do Five Guys, let alone doing
Chick-fil-A. I'm on Chick-fil-A now.
Chick-fil-A. Wait. What's the most expensive fast food for you guys?
Like, I think so. Five Guys is up there. Then I mean, we have Shake Shack, but that's kind of like a hybrid.
We have Shake Shack now.
Yeah. So but that's kind of like elevated fast food. So I think somewhere. Somebody said Chipotle. Yeah. I think Chipotle.
That's a monthly salary. Is that?
Yeah. Chipotle. Chipotle is up there, and Shake Shack. Those two, they taking it to next levels with them.
Yeah, I think we have a Shake Shack here. I think Five Guys probably is our most expensive thing. If you think about a meal, if you were to get a meal, I think Five Guys is, because it's around about 15 to 17 pounds. Because if you buy the burger's usually like 10 pounds. The drink you're gonna buy is often like 3 or 4 quid, and then chips on its own is like 3 quid as well. So you're hitting like 17 quid on one meal. So if you buy that, I'll give Five Guys credit. They have a lot of chips, but if you buy that 5 times, 4 times, that's a restaurant. 68 quid. That's a restaurant. 68 quid you spend. 68 quid.
And I don't eat Chipotle, but I know because they have like those they have those bowls. So the bowls are like those burrito bowls or whatever. Those are like $10 to $15 range. And then if you get chips on the side, that could be another $5. So you could easily get $15 to $20 per meal at Chipotle. So yeah, Chipotle can get up there. Yeah, but it's like it's hard to, when you sit back and you look at it. Chick-fil-A the same thing. If you get the sandwich, the fries, the drink, you want a salad on the side, you're in the upwards close to $20 too. So they all getting us,
bro.
They getting us.
It's so funny because I'm thinking about it. Yeah, sometimes like I don't look like if I go out with a few people and I want to pay, I don't look at my account. I just don't look at my account. I don't want to fight myself in it. So I'll end up just paying. Like I won't think about it. I'll just put the money in and just pay it. But when sometimes you look at it and you're like, whoa, and you calculate, like, whoa, 80 quid. When you start doing the numbers, that's when you start realizing, hey, this is a lot of money. I can't do this regularly.
I remember. Funny story. Speaking of McDonald's, right? So this was one of the first time back when my ex-wife and I were dating, and she 2 kids, and they were young teenagers at the time. And we all went to McDonald's, bro. Now, mind you, I'm a single dude used to doing me. So if I pop into a drive-through, it's like $10, maybe $8 or whatever. I get my shake, I'm out. We get the bill. I'm like, wait, what? $50? $50, and then they were like, "Oh, I want this shake. Oh, I want the Oreo shake. I want the Hulk shake." And I'm just seeing the list.
Get yourself a door.
I'm just like, "Oh, okay."
Yo,
$70, okay. And McDonald's, all right. no joke. So I have a little sympathy for brother man, you know.
Bro,
can
as
rack
you said
up.
that, it just made me think. It just made me think why my dad was getting so angry when he was like, "You're not finishing food. Finish your food." Because, bro, honestly, you don't realize, fam, a family of 4 or 5, and this was even back in the day, let alone now. Now, a medium meal in UK is $5.99. Like, it used to be like $3.99. That's a £2 increase. $5.99 for a medium meal, and that's
Well,
before
where?
you do that. McDonald's.
Oh, $5.99. Oh, that's pounds. Because I
That's
was
pounds. Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
yeah, there's
Sorry,
no
yeah.
$5.99.
$5.99.
Yeah, US
What's
the
yours,
meals are
McDonald's?
like.
What be yours?
If you get a I usually get a fillet of fish. That meal is normally like $8. Like if you get a
Okay.
medium meal.
Okay, so that's roughly about same $2 to pounds. Let's see. Let me just type into my thing. $8 is roughly around about how much? Let's type this into pounds. Let's have a look. See who's more expensive. I think we probably end up being just slightly more expensive. I think if we were to do it in English pounds.
Yeah,
Dollars to pounds.
You abroad is a little more expensive.
Yeah, we're a little bit crazy with that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Let's see, £8. Let's see. Does it say it? Oh, it won't even let me do it. Okay. My thing's not even working. Okay, cool. But yeah, I was trying to do it, but it wouldn't let me do it. But yeah, no. So it can become very costly very, very quickly, very, very quickly, bro. Like you said, if you have 4 people now, that's a whole lot of money that's just gone out of your account. Do you know what I mean? You do that 3 or 4 times. I remember when before I was doing YouTube and I was working in normal banking. I remember my little sister. I took them out, just me and my little sister. I think I was seeing 20 plus. I said, whoa. I said, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Now it doesn't bother me as much. But if I have to do that regularly,
yeah,
you know what I mean? For kids are not mine. Yeah, I'm gonna be feeling some type of way if every time I have to think about buying your kid something when I'm buying something for my kid. That's stress, bro.
Yeah,
that's stress. I said someone to go get a chicken box. All right, listen. It's true. He should. You know what? He should have gone and bought a KFC box and just go and brought that to the kids, man.
exactly. Dropped it
Save
off and
himself
said, "You
muscle.
know what? I'll be back. I'm gonna eat
Exactly.
this on the way there. I got it. Left her holding her camera.
Yeah, so I bought you a box though. I bought you a box.
Exactly.
Only one each? Yeah, I bought you a box though.
Exactly. Enough for the whole family, you included.
Enough for all of you.
And a biscuit.
Like, you didn't buy enough for the week. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not about to do that still. Someone said it's over $11, 11 euros. Woo, boy. Okay, yeah. Food for children stresses you out. And I see you. Listen, you've been doing the most since I've seen you. Lucky you're pretty in your DP. Listen, you've been moving mad. Listen, all day you've been moving mad. Of course, it's stress. It's not my kids. It's not my kids. Of course, I'm stressed. I'm very stressed. I'm stressed when I even see my little siblings coming after me. Please, my sibling asked me for money today. I said, "How much?" I said, "What you need that for?" Hey, you always get stressed with money, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
parents too. I don't care, even if they are your kids. I'm sure it's like
stressful.
You see that add up, you know.
And if you've got 4 of them, and that's why I said it doesn't even equate to normally, because if you ask for money, it doesn't mean all your siblings are going to ask for money either. Sometimes it's just one of your siblings asking for money and they need a school. And the school trip, I'm not looking for that. Look forward to that. School trips. Are we going to France this year? Are we?
We speaking French too, huh? No.
We're going to France. I think we can learn French at home. What do you mean?
Exactly.
We
get you a French fry.
Yeah.
Now we go to McDonald's.
That's when your parents start trying to bribe you because they know that price is too much. You know what I mean? Listen, it is a lot, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like, yeah, school trips. Yeah. So, you know, yeah, I think listen, everything's money in this world. So, you know, if you've got kids out there, guys, please just take care of them as best as you can and conflict resolute if you're out there as well. Don't let them get you like that. Okay. All right. But yeah, we'll be back and yeah, we'll have some more laughs. This was funny, man. I like this, man. We have to have a conversation about that as well one day as well. Just the amount of money we can spend on things like that. So it'll be a good convo. All right, audience members, thank you so much. Me and Sean will be behind the scenes, so appreciate it a lot. Stay locked.